All right, it's Sunday. We've seen the show. Stan, what did you think of the show? It seemed pretty packed for a while there.
Yeah, man, it's packed. It feels good. It's like almost back to 2020, right?
Yeah.
Right, pre-pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
The size of the show is there. All 3 rooms are full. A lot of companies, a lot of DTF, but it feels good to really have that. And I've been to every show since 2020, so when they came back, and I'm seeing it like slowly start to come back. And I also think the crowd's changed. I think the demographic has stretched, age, race, everything is kind of like, it's been more inclusive in my opinion than it's been in the past.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about, who's getting the most out of this show? Do you feel like it's a lot of traditional print shop owners, or do you think there's a big rise of the heat press people?
Both. I think, for the audience that is like big beginner audience, it's great for them to, and a lot of them have traveled from far to come here. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things that I focused on from once I came here myself, because it allows them to see what's possible, right? Like, we're so used to like the industry wanting you to show up at this point, get this expensive equipment, but everybody starts somewhere, and I got people in my audience that have started with me in 2020 and got $1 million shops now. And so it's like, I'm trying to get people into it and then try to help them progress as far as they want to take it. So I think no matter what level you are, coming to this show specifically, you get to either open your eyes to what this industry has to offer, meet people, connect, and then if once you're at a certain point, you're starting to network with other shops that you can learn from, that you can go into. You can meet Cole, has a successful shop, and pick up some tips about what you're doing and how you're marketing. So I think everybody wins by coming to this show specifically.
Yeah, and I know you did a class. What was your topic on this weekend?
Yeah, so me, Mel, and Zach, we did a symposium. We talk about things we wish we knew. So my talk specifically is about like infrastructure almost. It's like, we're doing all these things. Start right now, make it easy on yourself, get the proper software, connect with the right companies, and kind of like hone in on your business now, so that way it's easier to grow, because we always patch everything together. So it's a cost of doing business to get the right softwares and different things like that to help your business kind of get started. So that's kind of what I talk about.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, what do you think, seeing all this DTF rise out of everywhere?
Yeah.
What is the path you would recommend from ground up? Would you say get a heat press and order it in? Would you say go buy a machine?
Yeah, I mean,
do you even want to learn screen printing anymore? What are
so,
you seeing?
These are all tools, man. I'm telling people now, as a person who unboxed every machine and all of that kind of stuff, and I've gotten people to buy a lot of different equipment, the thing that kills me is when you buy it and you don't use it. Right? Yeah. So I'm trying to combat that. And I'm saying now, forget all of the machines, just go sell. Let the business decide what you invest in, right? If you even invest at all. If you don't, maybe you like your freedom and you can build a contract-based shop where you got tight relationships with printers and you go find the work. If you can make whatever because you got all this equipment, however, you can't sell it, it becomes a big paperweight no matter what machine you buy. So yes, I love heat pressing. I think that's what makes the gateway drug to this industry. It allows people to get into it. But when you really look at it at a large scale, if you're not selling, you're just sitting still.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, no matter how good of a printer you are, if you're operating a rock or whatever, at some point, you're not going to have that infinite growth that you could have in sales.
Indeed. And I think, we get so caught up coming in, it's like, at the end of the day, I got here from selling. I didn't even know how to make a shirt when I started selling them, right? I just knew where to go get them printed. So if I take myself back to what got me going into business and kind of started, it's like, sales is the only thing that really matters. The rest of it, you can sell your way through problems. So you get the wrong machinery you selling, you can go get the right one, right? Like all of those things. And I think people want the microwavable, everything out the box. It's crazy. The more money you spend, the less it works for you. It's like all of the beginner stuff you can have up and running in a day, but you spend 50 grand, you need to go do 50 grand worth of education to learn how to use that automatic or whatever equipment DTF you invest in, and it's gonna have problems, man. Business comes with problems.
Yeah. I mean, when you're talking about sales, if you haven't invested in a large website, you don't have anyone else on your team.
Oh man, I'm glad you mentioned that.
How would you go, today, first day of your business, you got to make $5,000 this month. Right. What are you going to do with essentially nothing to start as your base?
Yeah, so I'm looking at your wife right now. So let's just say she's a school teacher. She's my friend, right? I don't know what she does, but I'm going to lean on those relationships. Like, I'm calling all my friends that I went to college with who are now school teachers. I don't know why, but they're school teachers. Hey, yo, who's printing? How can I get y'all uniform jobs? Who's in charge of this? Who's in charge? I'm going to lean on every last relationship that I have day one, right? Your family and friend network is going to be the first thing that's going to be easy. And now I think having a website and all, it's all cheap, man. Just being able to accessible and do some of the old things, business cards, flyers, network. You know, every last business you walk into that you patronize on a regular basis, you know, I'm pretty sure you eat at some restaurants, their staff probably got T-shirts on. And just being there could get you to business, becoming a regular. Like, look inside of what you're already doing to get it started, get the money flowing, and then you can kind of hone in and figure out what your customer base is actually going to be. But if I had to start from scratch, I'm leaning on all of those relationships.
Yeah. So Stan, I've been coming to these shows 9 years now.
Yeah.
And I think I've met you at one of these shows a few years back.
Yeah.
We've linked up, and one of the things that we always talk about privately is, like, I don't know about you, some of the, like, awesome shows to come through.
Yep.
But as a black man, when
Yeah.
you come to the show, what's the feeling that you get? Like, we talk about that
Yeah,
privately. Like
the diversity. We talking diversity, right?
Yeah. We
and
talk about that.
I mentioned it earlier. Is like the dynamics of the show has changed. The age has changed. It's not just race, but it's everything all inclusive.
Yeah.
You know, you got a lot of beginner people that are coming in, like, for their first show, and like, it's mad overwhelming. I remember my first show being not even as big as this one, but really, really overwhelming to see. I didn't know was possible. So, you know, but to go into what you're mentioning, you know, it feels good, man, because we all have our own crowds, right? Cole's gonna have his audience, and Rock's gonna have their crew, and it's like you're gonna gravitate towards your people. It's just a natural type of thing, and that has nothing to do with race. It's like you went to high school, you're not friends with every single body. You got your group of people. You're an athlete, you hang with athletes, that type of stuff. So, and it's so much of a wealth of knowledge that we can have that individualism, but we can also branch out. So one of the things we've been working on is something called the Black Printers Network, right? And it's just to be a resource to other black printers, right? And it is one of the things that it feels good to have people that you can relate to and you can socialize with, where you don't feel like an outsider, right? And I think it's important at all levels. Like, you know, I love what the Print Girl Mafia is doing with their, like, trying to empower women and different things like that. Even, like, my girlfriend joined the group, so it's like being able to kind of, like, so she can figure out and connect with people. Maybe she has nothing to do with printing to a certain degree, but she can see and understand, and they're so embracive, and I wanted to, you know, help cultivate the same type of energy.
Very cool. So did you guys do a meetup?
We did. We had a breakfast the other day.
Oh, nice.
I think it was like 8 to 10 of us showed up. We have monthly meetings, and it's growing, and we're trying to set the sales for it and everything like that. But we have had a great turnout thus far, and you can check out that at theblackprintersnetwork.com, and connect and put yourself around like-minded individuals as you grow your business.
So, what for you? That was awesome, man. For you, what's next for you? How can people leverage you? Because I know you do a lot of things around the industry, like supporting different companies, supporting different brands.
Yeah.
Like, what is it that you're working on next? How could people get access to you and leverage, like, everything that you have going on?
Yeah, man. I think all of this stuff is tailor-made. So it's like, you know, we want the one-size-fits-all solution, but it's never a one-size-fits-all solution. It's what works for you. So I have t-shirtsizefit.com. I just rebuilt it, and you can find everything that I'm connected to in there. So I'm doing a lot of consulting. This first quarter, I've been doing clarity calls with people. It's like, let's get the business. Let's really understand what we're trying to do. So that's been amazing thus far. I started a new podcast called The Art of Hustle, and we've every Wednesday now we're going to be bringing on guests and different things like that to hear the stories that can help people grow, where they may be inspired by somebody. What else I got? You know, I'm still consulting companies, training, just doing everything. I also started a supply company called Marathon Supply.
Oh, really?
Supplying, you know, DTF transfers, vinyl, all of the major stuff for my audience and different things.
Are you shipping just regionally right now, or are you going to do nationwide?
Yeah, I'm coast to coast. So
Oh, wow.
I'm already shipping all over the place. So a lot of transfers were sold last year,
Sweet.
and a lot of vinyl. So I'm adding equipment as we go. And my ultimate goal is like, hey, if you buy your equipment, you can come out and get trained, like on the job training. So you get screen print equipment, you come out for the day and you want to learn screen printing or see it, you get to come see it in action. A lot of what is done at, you know, your level, you want to learn something, you go visit another shop. That hasn't always been accessible to the beginner level, right? So being able to provide that resource when people get into the industry.
Very cool. Where are you doing that? What's the actual building's location?
So it's in Delaware.
Okay.
In Delaware, my shop in Delaware, and real laid back setting. You know, it's just it's beautiful in a sense. I'm partnered with Workhorse. Really clean space. So I got my hands in a lot of places. I'm rebuilding my own print business as we speak now. I've been out the industry for 2 years. Not the industry, but not printing, because I was traveling and consulting. A lot of my time was on the road. So I'm back trying to build that up from scratch, and then I'm trying to take people along the journey with me. So really community oriented. I say, I'm gonna end it with this. I say I should be giving TED Talks, but I'd rather talk to TED, right? And what I mean by that is I don't really want to talk to the masses anymore. I want to talk to people who are actually taking the information and doing something with it. So that's been my main focus now, is like, look, how can I be more impactful? I've already changed the dynamic. And not to toot my own horn, but I like consciously manifested and put the groundwork in to get more people to come to this show. I get so motivated when I come. I don't got a business model to be here. So I'm just here to meet people and hear their stories. I'm a fan of them because it's the true spirit of what entrepreneurship is, you know, trying to figure it out. So when I come to an event and people drove hours or flew in, it's like, and they get to talk to me and I hear their stories, I get inspired and it gives me a little bit of dopamine to get going, right? So it's been awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. To have that kind of energy about the industry is so exciting, because, you know, when we like talk to different people, everybody's trying to sell a product.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is why this thing is the best. And it's so fun to talk to you, because you're like, I'm just trying to grow the industry and be a part of the industry. Yeah. You don't have to necessarily pitch a specific product. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you walk in shops, they got a rock press with an M&R dryer. Come on, like
right.
they got 15 different ink companies in there. Like, that's the real thing of this industry. It's not this or that. It's like, hey, this the white I like. It's just the best white. I might change later on. You got to show me all of that stuff. But when it all said and done, we need help with the business. Like, we need help trying to figure out, dang, Cole, how did you get to this level? Like, what's your customer base? How are you doing it? It doesn't hurt when you travel out and you meet people. It doesn't hurt you to tell me what you're doing so I can try to implement that in Delaware. But we want somebody to tell us that's next door to us how to do it. And it's like, it don't really work like that, because we are in competition in the end of the day when we're that close to each other. So, you know, spreading the knowledge, information changes situations, man. This has opened up so many doors for myself. I met so many great people that I can connect with, that, you know, if I'm just struggling with something, I can pick up the phone and call a bunch of people. And so for my audience, I try to make that accessibility. Is like, I don't got the answer to this, but yo, connect with Gavin, because, you know, he's great with systems, or call this person and I'll just connect the dots, because for my audience is like, yo, they got access to Cole, and I bring him on my podcast and ask him nothing about, like,
that was a podcast invite, Cole.
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't an invite. I'm demanding it. Nah, but, you know, just having access to that information, because not everybody can afford to come. You take this trip, you spending $1,000 easy.
Yeah.
You know, I started teaching because I wanted to help people make $300,000, $500,000 so that the bills hit a little bit less. Like, I remember not being able to afford Pampers, and I got to go sell my next order of shirts in order to get the money, and it's already spent. I know what that grind and that hustle feels like, and I'm actually back in it now. But I know what this industry has done for me, and it can do so much more for people if they get into it and get started.
Awesome.
That's awesome, dude.
Thanks so much for swinging by. I could listen to you for like an hour and a half.
We're going to have to do an hour and a half episode, man.
I'm like, I think he needs to come and just be in my shop and energize me.
You know,
just Monday morning, like, we got to take this to the next level.
Yo, it's crazy. I'm gonna end it with this. This is like my final remark. I don't know if y'all do that, but, you know, I've been inside of so many large shops that I've helped. You wouldn't think, like, just from the perspective, like, for example, one of the shops I've been into had a problem with, like, a heat press, like their workflow of heat press. We re-outfitted it. I watched their pressers, and I took a girl who was doing like 120 caps on like multiple presses, and I sped her up to the point she was doing like 360 an hour. And I'm not even, like, seriously, because she was measuring everything. She lacked confidence I watched you for 15 minutes. You lined it up, you did your measuring, you ain't had to move one of these things. When you gonna have the confidence to do your placement? Yeah, you might get one wrong, but the productivity sped up just from having a conversation with an employee
Covers
to
the
get
mistakes.
You know, some things that you just may not notice. I'm very inquisitive. I'm asking questions. I'm going to share with you, like, something that I may have learned from Oklahoma Shirt Company. Like, oh, they do this. You should connect with him and go figure that out. So, you know, I've been able to get inside of even bigger shops and do some positive things and stuff like that, too. So the consulting thing has been great, you know. I think of myself as a master marketer, and I got the track record to back it up.
Yeah,
Awesome.
you do. Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming by. And, like, yeah, we should definitely do a longer one.
I'm down.
All right. Bye.
Go.